Hey y'all, welcome to Nasal Academy. And my name is Tammy. Um, yeah, I am. Happy Good Friday, by the way, before I go any further. If you're watching this anytime around Easter weekend. Um, Sorry, I had popcorn earlier and I'm like, I could feel it in my teeth. Anyway, um, as our government officials argue over what's best for us and talk about things that we shouldn't be doing. And even when you go out, I just came back in my hair. I'm just looking at my hair. I've been out. It's windy outside, and I'm just tired of trying to keep my hair together. So anyway, but I went to the store because I had some essential business to take care of, and which included getting a package out. Um, and it's depressing. It's really depressing. It's interesting to me to, for lack of a better term, please forgive me, but it's interesting to see the amount of paranoia that's going on. We're looking at one another, suspicious of who's got what, and like I said, then listening to all of these government authorities fight, debate over what's best for this country and what we need to be doing and who's got the authority and who doesn't have the authority. It's all depressing, right? Um, and I don't want to make this anything political or argumentative at any stretch of the imagination, but just kind of realizing how this is impacting all of us. It's really disappointing when you want to go out and everybody's kind of like arm's length. And what's even scarier for me, and I don't know about it for you, and maybe you haven't seen these things yet, or I don't know. Let's talk about it if you have. But I was there was things that are being talked about um, on the news about I mean, just computer animations about what happens if you're in this store aisle and somebody in the other aisle coughs, and just kind of trying to demonstrate the spread of aerosols and or for that matter, even being outdoors. I've been outside several times today. It's a beautiful sunny day. I mean, just the temperatures are perfect. It's the low 70s, and oh my gosh, it's just fabulous. Who wouldn't want to be outside? But yet, on the news, they're telling it, well, be careful. You know, basically don't want to stand downwind of anybody because if they cough or sneeze or so much as breathe, the chances of contracting some kind of illness is possible. And then, of course, there was other newscasters that I heard talking about, we don't even want to shake hands anymore because people's hands are filthy. This was a newscaster. This is why I don't want to watch TV or listen to any of it. I just really do my best, but I happen to be in a situation where other people are watching it, so I can't help but hear it. And the point is that I'm intrigued by the messages being conveyed, and like I said, the level of fear that this is imposing upon us, the way, or influencing at the very least. Um, don't be afraid. I mean, yeah, don't touch one another. Don't talk to one another. And if you're going to talk to one another, make sure your faces are covered. And if and don't shake hands. And here's what I'm going to say to that. I know this is Nasal Academy, but I wanted to say something. I guess obviously wanted to say something about this. Um, I shared it on Instagram and on I shared it on several places on social media yesterday, and even in my newsletter. If you haven't signed up for my newsletter, please message me with your email address. I'll hook you up, and I'll send you the recent edition. I had a brain fart. I'll send you the recent edition. Um, but I shared it all over the place. And that is that we've been talking about coronaviruses now. We've been investigating them. We've been aware of the extent of illness that they can lead to with anybody with comorbidities. We have known the common cold. We are asymptomatic for 4 days between 1 to 4 days before we ever show a symptom. It's not new news that you are asymptomatic before demonstrating or coming up with any symptoms. It's the same thing can be said for the flu. So we're walking around. 95% of the adult population currently reported by the CDC walks around with at least one dormant bacteria or virus in their body, meaning like Lyme or Epstein-Barr those kinds of things. So 95% of the adult population globally has one of those. And did you know that those actually will be activated with the introduction of a new virus? But the point is like I said, the rhinovirus, the coronavirus, they've been aware of this for decades. They've been aware of how we, the human body, will react to it, especially when there's other underlying issues. They're also aware of that, of the immune system. And this is the reason why I was doing Nasal Academy yesterday on this level, that, the immune system and the nose interact. There's a direct relationship. It's all about protection. Okay. So we've been aware of this. We've existed for a very, very long time. I have my suspicions as to what's all going on, and that's in my recent blog. What makes COVID-19 so dangerous? I'm not going to get into it here. I'm actually might write another blog post about what I believe is complicating matters. Anyway, as far as today goes, back to what I was originally getting at, which is it's depressing having other people trying to determine whether or not we can work, having other people determine whether or not, um, well, our safety levels, and basically telling us to be afraid of one another. I even saw, and I didn't read it, I didn't want to dive into it. Um, where there was a news report on MSN regarding couples during coronavirus, and the image was a man and a woman. Um, Both of them had masks on. I think his was a cloth mask, hers was a regular medical mask, but they were just forehead to forehead, as if they are not allowed to be even interacting. The messages being conveyed are scary and depressing. It's the point to this. And so, what do we do when we're scared and depressed? Well, this is again where oils really matter. And I don't have any recommendations for essential oils, but before you go, hear me out. I personally love essential oils. I've been living and working with them for over 30 years now, because my background is in pharmacology. And every time there's some days where I like to get whatever fragrance or whatever, I don't want to call it a fragrance, pardon me, whatever essential oil I like that appeals to me, like this is what I want to smell right now. Could be helichrysum, could be neroli, could be jasmine, could be marjoram. It could be anything. Whatever is just like speaking to me. I was like, hey, Tammy. It's just kind of whispering. And so what I'll do is I'll just put it on my hands and just smell it. Because the olfactory system, and that's the point to Nasal Academy, is to really begin to demonstrate the value to the olfactory system. But just having that, like I just used helichrysum and I can smell it. And it just uplifts me. Yes, there are some oils that are recommended for depression and for feeling uplifted, and you're more than welcome to use those. Those would be bitter orange and lemon, possibly lime and grapefruit. I mean, those are kind of just fresh, right? They're kind of sunshiny, and so definitely you don't want to use put them on your hands. You don't want to use them where you're going to go out into the sunshine because your palm of your hands aren't going to get. But but if you just put them on your hands and just use, but my suggestion today is to pull out something that just reminds you, because remember the other day, and if you haven't seen it, I mentioned that essential oils and scent are very, very good for helping to trigger memory. So if there's a scent that reminds you of a good time, of a peaceful time, of a safe time, then do what you can to recreate that aroma and smell it. I'll give you a really quick example. I was working in a treatment facility, and the young man came in. It was court ordered treatment, and he did not want to go through the medications, and the psychiatrist okayed it. You know what he said to me? I like chamomile. My grandmother used to make me chamomile tea. He was really, really anxious, and I actually put chamomile because they weren't allowed to carry glass bottles, but I put some chamomile, Roman and German, just both, on a Kleenex, and he kept asking for it. And he mentioned to me that his grandmother used to make him chamomile tea, and that was really very beneficial for him. And that is actually how he got through treatment, was by using specifically that particular combination of oils along with his DBT and so forth. So you can use whatever you like to help uplift you, especially during these times. There are ways to protect your body, and we'll keep going with these, and how to do that and really be prepared for, help the body repair itself. We're going to get into all of that, but for right now, with all